Welcome back, everyone, to another Day Zero build for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Today we have probably my favorite of the four turtles if I had to pick one, Donatello, the Smart One. He is a 7 hand size, 23 health character with the Inventor and Mutant traits, and his symbols are Good and Void. I have chosen to go with Void for this one with attuned Good, and we have two abilities. The first is an enhance that says our attack gets +1 damage for each asset in our stage. So similar to the previous deck for Bishop, uh, Donatello gets damage instead of speed, and he also depends on assets. And he has a response, which causes us to commit him. After you block an attack with an asset with a printed difficulty of 4 or less, we get to build it. So we can just block with an asset, turn Donnie sideways, build that asset, giving us another card that we could potentially use a very cool ability of, and we get to clear our own progressive difficulty, so that's pretty cool. So let's start with our attack lineup. So obviously Donatello is very much based on assets. He wants to have a bunch of assets in play, and he wants to be able to block, chain block very well. So we're going to start with collecting scraps. This is a 5 difficulty, 3 control, 6 low for 4 with a 1 low block and the tech keyword. As a blitz, we can add one asset with a difficulty of 3 or less from our discard pile to our hand. So, as we've also seen from the Bishop deck, there are some cards that aren't assets that can get treated as assets, and we have some very important versions of those in our deck, but this can pick up those fake assets as well as our real assets, which is just pretty cool. It's a great way to keep our little cycle going of what we want to do. Next we have his ultra rare Disabling Jab. This is a 5/2, 5 mid for 5 with a 1 mid block and the tech keyword. Odd that it doesn't have weapon, but I'm not going to argue. It's got Blitz, spend 1 momentum, your rival discards 1 card, seal 1 rival foundation. So at the cost of 1 of your momentum, you get rid of a rival resource in their hand, and you get to seal their best card. Sealing is treating it as if it has no abilities for the rest of the turn. So that's very powerful, especially as a lead-off attack. And then response, after you block with this card, flip the blocked attack. So because of the response window, as soon as you pass the check to play the block, but before the attack deals damage, you get to activate this ability to flip the rival attack. So much like Faith Shield from Crimson Rampage and the Girl Power reprint, you can partial block with this and flip the attack to take no damage. You can block a throw and flip it before it deals damage. It's a very good disruptive defensive ability. Next we have Machine Mayhem, an 8/3, 6 mid for 6 with a 1 mid block, Stun 2 and Tech, Stun 2 being an enhance that forces your rival to commit 2 foundations. And as a static, you are allowed to commit assets as though they were foundations when you pass the check to play this card. Now, something I don't think I brought up in the Bishop video that also included this card is it does not say you check to play this attack. So this means you can also commit assets if you try to block with this card, which is very good for that +1 mid block. Next we have Spinning Swing. This is a 4/3, 1 mid for 6 with a 1 high block and the weapon keyword. As a blitz, this attack gets +1 speed for each asset in our stage. So in effect, combining this with our character, this attack gets 1 speed and 1 damage for every asset in our stage, which can lead to a bunch of stats at the end of a string. Don't know where my tongue went on that one. Technological Advantage, we have a 4/3, 4 high for 4 with a 1 high block and the tech keyword. As a blitz, if there is an asset in your stage, draw 1 card. We're almost always going to have an asset in our stage, so this just draws us a card, which is really strong for a 7-hander. And then Throat Slitter. This is a cheeky card from Critical Role I threw in here. It's a 5/3, 5 mid for 5 with a 1 mid block, powerful 2 and weapon. As a blitz, your rival discards 1 card. If this attack deals damage, your rival draws 1 card. So this is really great for putting your rival in an awkward position, because if they don't want to take a bunch of damage from that powerful 2 or from Donatello putting a bunch of damage on it, they're going to have to basically lose 2 cards out of their hand when dealing with this card, because they won't be able to draw that extra card. Conversely, you can take the last card out of your rival's hand, dump all of your momentum into the powerful, give it a bunch of damage with Donatello and any of your other assets and foundations, and just turn this into a one-shot kill. It is a very, very powerful card, and even way back when I saw this in Critical Role, I said this shouldn't have been an uncommon. On to our assets, the green cards that Donatello wants to play so badly. We've got Anti-Mutant Neutralizer, a 2/5 with a 1 mid-block, tech, and weapon. Response: after you build this asset during the combat phase, draw 1 card. So the only real way to play this is if you block with it and then use Donatello to bring it down. You will then get to draw 1 card, which is still pretty good. A +1 mid-block that can effectively be cleared is solid. And then Enhanced Commit, this attack gets +1 speed and +3 damage. That's a lot of damage, especially if you're putting it on something like Throat Slitter if you rip the last card out of your rival's hand. So that is very, very good. We have Donnie's Bow Staff, a 1/5 with a 3 mid-block and Breaker 2. Breaker 2 meaning if you block with this card, your rival's next check gets -2, and failing that check will end the combat phase. It's not like most check hacks. And as an enhance, you can just add this card to your hand. So you can block with it, Breaker 2, commit Donatello, build this down, your rival plays another attack, you can pick this back up with its own ability, block with it again, Breaker 2 again. It is a very, very powerful defensive piece, especially when you can move it in and out of your stage so freely. Next we have Cabal's Ruin, a 1/6 with a 2 high block, unique and vestige. Unique meaning we can only have 1 of it in our stage. Also to be reiterated and changed right before Turtles comes out. We have not heard the update on Unique, but I will be fixing the Unique video in the Hermit School when that announcement comes live, so stay tuned for that. But as a static, if your rival attacks your character and deals no damage, add 1 charged counter to this card. As an Inventor or Thief Enhance, which we are an Inventor, we can just give all of our rivals' attacks -1 speed for free. And then as an enhance, we can commit this card, remove all charge counters from this card. This attack gets +2 damage for each charge counter removed this way, and if you removed 5 or more counters, each player mills 10. So they have to mill 10. That is a huge chunk of your deck, unless you're playing an old school Nick Reagan that's over 100 cards. But this is a great way to stockpile a bunch of damage onto a big attack, especially if you're capable of perfect blocking a lot of attacks. And lastly, Cape of No Return, a 3/4 with a 3 high block, enhance, remove this attack from the game. So this is really cool because you can block with this, commit Donatello, build this down, and then remove it when your rival plays another attack. So you can effectively treat this 1 card as taking out 2 attacks if you perfect block with it. It's really cool. And of course we are a Void character, so we need Barrier Shield, a 2/5 with a 2 high block, the ally keyword. As a static, it does not count towards progressive difficulty. As an enhance, we can remove it, reduce this attack's speed to 0, and the next card you play this turn gains Breaker 2. So again, like we saw with Donnie's Bow Staff, we can really hurt our rival's chances of stringing out. And reducing speed to 0 allows us to block with higher difficulty block modifiers, like the +3 on Donnie's Bow Staff. It also has an enhance that our rival cannot add cards to their hand during this attack due to their non-character effect. Doesn't come up as much, but it's still just a very powerful defensive piece. On to our foundations. Because we have Brotherly Love, a 1/6 with a 2 mid-block, the Deflect 2 keyword, and ally. Deflect 2 is a response in your hand that says add this card to your card pool. After the block step of your rival's attack, it gets -2 damage, and you can only play 1 deflect ability per attack. So if you can't block something, you can just add this card to your card pool and take 2 less damage. As a static, our abilities treat this card as an asset. So if we block with it, we can build it down with Donatello. It counts for Donatello's damage boost. It counts for spinning swing speed boost. So really cool. And then response remove, after this card enters your discard pile from your hand or deck during an attack, that attack gets +1 speed. So if your rival is trying to mill you, like if they're playing April, or if you have a way to discard cards from your hand or to self-mill, like maybe with Cabal's Ruin, You can give a little bit of extra speed if need be. We have Youthful Optimism, a 1/5 with a 2 low block. Enhance Sacrifice. If you try to block this attack, your block modifier becomes 0. So again, turning cards like Donnie's Bowstaff, which have a +3 mid block, but that really sweet Breaker 2, this becomes a 0 mid block with Breaker 2, which is crazy. We have Code Edits, a 3/5, 1 mid block, unique and tech. Again, our abilities treat this card as an asset. So if we block with it, we can build it in. And as a response, we can flip it after your rival plays a Blitz ability, cancel it. So very strong ability there. And of course, Extra Supplies, a 3/5, 2 high block, tech. Our abilities treat this card as an asset. So again, with all of these foundations also counting as assets, Donatello is going to have a bunch of big damage coming in. And as a response, flip after you make a check, you may commit assets as though they were foundations to pass that check. So if we've got multiple copies of Donnie's Bowstaff, we can commit, say, 2 of them if we have all 3, and keep 1 ready to add to our hand in case of an emergency. Next we have Hunting Mutants. This is a 2/5 with a 2 mid block. Enhance Flip. This attack gets +1 damage for each asset in your stage, maximum of 5. Just really stacking up a whole lot of damage with these assets. We have Juggling Groceries, a 1/5 with a 3 high block. Enhance Commit. This attack gets -2 speed, but if your rival has more foundations than you, it gets -3 speed instead. So if you are getting outbuilt, you're able to kind of slow your rival's pace down a little bit. Excuse me, I'm yawning. Next we have Moment of Normalcy, a 2/5 with a 3 high block and the unique keyword. As an enhanced, return this attack to its printed speed or damage. So if you can take the hit on the chin, you can return it to printed damage, and if you really need to block it, you can return it to printed speed. Next we have Rifle Arm, a 2/5 with a 3 low block and the weapon keyword. Enhance Commit. This attack gets +2 or -2 speed. If it is the only attack in its owner's card pool, it gets +3 or -3 speed instead. So either guaranteeing that your first attack is going to be really difficult to deal with, or making sure your rival's first attack, or at least only attack in their card pool, is much easier to deal with. Next we have Incubating, a 1/5 with a 3 low block. Enhance Remove 1 card from your discard pile. This attack gets -1 speed. So pretty simple. It's just a little bit of extra speed hate. It's a good low block. It's a 1 difficulty foundation. These are really good cards. We have Botan's Coaching, a 0/5 with a 3 mid block. Enhance Flip. Both players discard 1 card and draw 1 card. So again, this also works with Brotherly Love, because then we can remove it to get a little bit more speed to our attacks. And finally, Web of Blades, a 2/5 with a 2 high block, unique and weapon. Response before your attack's block step, if its speed is less than printed, it gets +2 speed. Or response before your attack's block step, if its damage is less than printed, it gets +2 damage. Now you can use both of these abilities on your attack at the same time if your rival has reduced both your speed and damage below printed. Like say if you're going up against a Splinter and they reduce you to 1 speed and 1 damage, you can just pump it up a little bit. If they've barrier shielded you, you can get that +2 speed. It might not matter, but you never know. It could mess with math a little bit. And that is the basics for Donatello the Smart One. I think he's going to hurt somebody. I think if he can manipulate the cards in your rival's hand to where they just lose out all the cards in their hand with Disabling Jab and Throat Slitter and cards like that, he can stack so much damage, especially with these pseudo-asset foundations, that you're just gonna be looking for green cards, and all of a sudden you're missing 5 of the gray ones that also count as assets, because there is no damage maximum on his enhance. So if you've got 3 extra supplies, a code edits, and 2 brotherly love, that's 6 foundations that also count as assets. So if you have even 3 assets, that's 9 damage on every attack for free. If this dude finds the speed, he's gonna hurt you. And we already see cards like Spinning Swing that's 9 speed, 9 damage. That's a 10 mid, 15. If you throw this as like your 4th or 5th attack, you're just gonna clock somebody. It is ridiculous. So Donnie's gonna be kind of fun to mess around with, but what do you guys think? What do you think of Donatello? What do you think of these pseudo asset foundations that we're seeing? And how do you think they're gonna kind of mix things up? Um, Again, I've already gotten some feedback already, but if I get enough feedback of people wanting to see higher competitive builds, kind of like less uh, new player friendly and using cards that come in like pre-constructed decks, as I did not use any of those for any of these Day Zeros, um, please let me know in the comments below if you guys are interested in seeing that. I don't know if I'll do individual videos. I might do something like a stream, something that I can upload like the whole video instead of trying to get 15 other videos out. Um, but yeah, I'm kicking around the idea because I've already gotten some feedback of people wanting to see those. So make your voice heard, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.